children, what will you do?
I'm going to have to do a DNA test on those children, isn't it? Unless they don't look like me.
So if you do the DNA test and you find out that 2 of the children are yours and 1 is not yours, what will you do?
I'm going to have to send her to meet Jesus Christ.
If you suspect that your woman is cheating and you already have 3 children, what will you do?
I'm going to have to do a DNA test on those children, unless they don't look like me.
So if you do the DNA test and you find out that 2 of the children are yours and 1 is not yours, what will you do?
I'm going to have to send her to meet Jesus Christ.
Suspicion. They're just another weapon in TV's war on crime. But it might be a different story if that weapon was turned on us. And that's not impossible. It's happening to Australian families every day. DNA testing, especially paternity testing, is a booming business, fired up by suspicious husbands determined to prove that the child they're raising is actually theirs. And as you might imagine, that's opened up a whole new domestic battlefield.
Watch it.
Here in Australia, it's the humble postie.
There were a number of things that began to just not quite ring true. People making comments that she didn't look like me, whereas my older daughter did.
Chris refused to believe it at first, but the nagging doubts wouldn't go away.
The little one started talking about her other dad, her other father, and that made me, well, first I said, I am your dad, there's no other dad. Oh yes, there is. There's my other daddy who comes to visit.
So, you've got suspicions about your child. Well, as thousands of Australians do every year, you can have a DNA paternity test.
My own curiosity, I was so, at that stage, I was so dubious about the antics of my ex-wife, what she'd been up to, the fact that she'd had the men on the side and so forth. I just wanted to know.
So, without telling his wife, Chris took a mouth swab from his daughter and sent it to a DNA lab for a paternity test. Now, he's got the result back. Halfway around, Chris is about to find out whether his youngest daughter is really his.
The results came back, and unfortunately she wasn't my daughter, my biological daughter anyway. It's a real shock when it comes. A real shock when it hits you. You think you're prepared, you think, oh, what if the results are negative? And of course you realise there could be that possibility. But when that letter comes, it just blows you away.
Hello my people, welcome back once again. Today we are asking the question, is it the right thing to do for African married men with children to do the DNA test of their children? Is this the right move to make, to make sure that these men are raising their own children, not to raise someone's children? But I'm not saying there's something wrong with raising other people's children. No, it's a good thing to raise other people's children. So long as you know that it's other people, not like you're raising somebody thinking that it's your children, but it's not yours. You know what I mean? As you see in the short video clip in Australia, how the men, they think they are with a woman, but they don't know that the woman have other business to do, and these people end up, beginning to raise other people's children, other man's children, until they do a DNA test and find out that this person doesn't resemble them. But this DNA test, if a man decided to do a DNA test about his wife, his children that the wife claimed that is his, this kind of stuff can, break up a family, the bond, because it's very risk to do that. When you do that and you find out maybe that one of them or even all of them are not yours, you see that the marriage will crumble. There's no doubt about it. So, for a man, or African man to do stuff like this, they have to, look at the disadvantage, in doing this. The disadvantage there is obvious because you do it and you find the truth, which sometimes the truth will hurt, it will hurt you, and most of the time the relationship will not hold anymore, because now there is someone have already messed up the relationship by doing something extra. And even at this time around, where it's very hard for a woman to get pregnant if she doesn't want, and this is still happening, because we know that even in the olden days it happens, but because men then, we don't have technology to to do a DNA test. Many men in the old, even in Africa, have raised children that are not them, and even they die thinking that these children belong to them. But those children, they don't belong to them. You know what I mean? It's belong to another man that is, happy to engage with a madman. Some men are so mean and so bad to go and do something with a married woman, even though they know, or except if they don't know, it's different. But if you know and they go and do it, that's a different ball game. So you know what you are doing. So, but let's circle back to this issue of a DNA test about your children. I think some men, some African men, they look at their children, when they are young, like if 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they try to just use look to prove that these children belong to them. Maybe sometimes they look at their children and think, this children doesn't look like me or my relatives. And they'll go and start, say, let me do a DNA test about this. But the thing is that look can be confusing, Even if some children you might look at them because you're the one making the judgment and thinking that they resemble you, but they might not even be yours. You know what I mean? So that's why look can be deceiving. And some of your children might not resemble you. It doesn't mean that it's not yours, because it might resemble some, your wife's, bloodline, somebody from that bloodline. Grandmom or grandfather of your wife, you might resemble them. So you cannot use look and make a conclusive judgment. And sometimes some people just look at the children when they are young and say, you resemble me, I don't want to do the test. But the way the children looks when they are young is different when they grow up. So sometimes, when you do the DNA test, you are reassured. And these days, it's not even expensive to do, and you can do it at home as well. So I think men should do DNA tests, especially these days that, there's a lot of stuff, with women, dealing with women. If you have, if you're your child, you need to make sure that it's yours. I'm not saying that even if you find out it's not yours, you're not gonna take care of them. It's up to you to take care of them. If you want, it's not bad if you take care of them. But the thing is that you already find the truth. You know that these people you are taking care of are not yours. That's the problem. So the DNA test, in Africa is. I think many people are going for it in Africa, but I don't think it's the best stuff to do. I think most men should do that if they are adult, to clear the stuff. I know that women will not like something like that, because they always want you to trust them. But we have seen some cases where some people break that trust. That's why you cannot make arguments about trust to prevent man from doing DNA tests. If the man trusts you, why? If you know that something is not wrong, you should be open to DNA test without any hesitation. You know what I mean? Thank you for watching. Peace.